Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Classic Mini Restoration with me, Mini Tom. So the last episode, just reminded me, so I made this tool which I did paint silver, just for a bit of protection. Not the best job, my rattle cam was a little bit blocked on the end of it. But anyway, so yeah, thanks for the comments and the feedback, and I know I made a few of you laugh. Very funny. Anyway, we'll be using that I think to get some of the clips out, but today's episode I'm going to get the doors ready to take the skins off. I'm not going to do any grinding tonight because it's just way too late, it's 9:15 at night. So I'm going to get the door, I'm going to get the door handle off, ring mirror, window strip, the window out, door card off, door furniture off, all that sort of stuff ready so that I can literally start cutting the door skin off. And I've got the new door skin to go on, and I've also got these repair panels to go on the bottom of the door frames. So yeah, let's get to it. Now, one thing you will notice about this door is the lower hinge is shot, so if you watch closely, drops down. So I need to get a new pin for that. I have already oops, don't know about that actually. Now I've already put new studs on the end of these. I will show you them when I get the hinges off. But yeah, that one down there is shot. I don't know if I can show you. I'm wobbling it. Hang on. So it's the actual pin that's shot. So I'm gonna get a new one. I think they're like 10 quid for a set of 4 on eBay. So that'll be a purchase done. The actual bottoms on this side one don't feel too bad, but the door skins had it. I would imagine the bottoms have as well. There you go. Bit of a rust straight in my hand, but yeah. So I'm gonna get the furniture off first, the window out and all that sort of stuff, and then we're gonna get it apart. You can't see this, the camera angles aren't gonna be great in this, but that is the internal door handle. So posi screw, that should just pull off. Come on, man. It's coming. Just keep wiggling it until it comes. Try not to force anything too much. That's that off. I'm just going to get a magnetic tray. Next up is the actual door handle. So pop that one forward, one in the back. Should be 2 posies, which there is. Marvellous. Get another one out. Marvellous. Another one out. Window winder. That will have to go back on shortly so I can get the window into a good position to take the glass out. Right now, as you will have seen from my last video, somebody put some flathead screws down here. You nasty person, you. So yeah, that one's not even attached. I did have to recheck it because I know my old Mini, it did come with the door pockets, and that was screwed in. So I had to just check a few pictures, but yeah, there should be some clips, so hopefully when I take this off now, which you can see there's no clips in it now anyway, but someone's been at this before. Yeah, you can see, I don't know if you can see on the bottom, like just there, that's a trim clip, and if I show you the back of the door card as well, trim clip, trim clip, trim clip, and they're all just stuck in the actual door, so that's nice of the old owner. Thank you very much. I bought the car from a guy in Manchester, so that says a lot, doesn't it? Right, next thing is to get the glass out. Now you've got to get your window in a certain position. I think you've got to undo these screws to just sort of lever it out a little bit. So I'll get my, in fact, will this one fit? Yes, it will. Now I'm wanting to keep as much weight in the actual door as I can, so when I go to put it all back in, I know where I'm at with things, but regardless, it's going to have to move a little bit. So I might just put this mechanism back in. I might not do, to be fair. I don't know. One thing I do know is that they are handed. So right, now we can't get mixed up. Now it's been quite a few years since I took the glass out of them in the door, but we shall see. Can't remember how to do it. Where's my trim tool? See all of them that said it's a useless tool? Look at that. Just gotta try and remember how to do this now. Someone's put some horrible looking paste on it. Anyway. Right, where's my... So, quick time lapse of me trying to do this. These are videos on YouTube for you to go and see how to do it the right way. It did come out in the end, probably not the best way. I did find it quite tricky with that sort of paste around the mechanism. It was quite stuck on. And then the arms were quite seized in the actual parts underneath the window as well. So the runners, sorry. So yeah, I did find this bit really tricky. But it came out eventually. The key is to just take your time, be patient with it. Well, that didn't go too much to plan, but it's out. So I really struggled here. I've never done it before, but this is how to do it. So there's 2 screws on your outside door handle. There's 4 screws on your actual locking mechanism. And there's 2 screws on your inside door lock and your inside door handle. You need to basically undo all the screws. Once you've done that, you can hinge the actual lock out of the way a little bit. And you can get to 2 little spring clips on your linkage bars. You need to undo them and they'll come out, as you'll just see in a second. So watch for them spring clips. They have a habit of flying off and hitting someone in the eye or falling on the garage floor, never to be seen again. Once you've done that, it should all just come apart. So apologies, I lost the footage of this actually coming off, but I just thought I'd talk to you about how they come off. So on some wing mirrors, there's a little grub screw which you have to take off, and then the whole mirror comes off and there's a little backing plate which comes off. On the original mirrors, there's a little cover which pulls down and exposes 2 posi screws. You can get to them and then undo it. On this one, there's 2 10mm bolts which go through into the back of the mirror, and you obviously undo them to get it off. Right. I don't know how much you can see, but there's 2 bolts there and there's 2 bolts there. Now my hinges, I've already had these off. I've undone the bolts, and you get little spreader plates on the back like that, and obviously you can have spaces as well, so just watch for them coming out. My hinges I've already had off once before, and I have changed the studs because every single one of them snapped. It's easy to do. Well, it's a bit of a pain, but it's not too bad. You can just change. So if you do snap them, then don't worry about it. I used M6 threaded bar with some M6 nuts, and just basically cut them flush, drill them out in the centre, cut the weld off the back of it. You can't tap them out or wind them out. You have to do it that way. Tap it to M6 and then put your new stud into it, and then just put a bit of weld on the back of it. Cut down your studs because these have been crazily long. They're not even that old and they're already starting to rust up, so make sure you cut down your studs once you've done it. Obviously I've used my impact to where I can. Where you can't get it up here, you've got to use a little ratchet, but it's ready to come off now anyway. So what to do, make sure you've done your check strap, make sure that's undone. Basically, usually need to support the door if you've got all your stuff in it. This time I've got it on, it's quite light, but just use what you can. I'll get an assistant or something, and then just slide it out, and then there we go. So you can see there, I left them way too long. That's just the license for them to rust, is that. Look underneath it. So this skin, it's starting to bubble down here. The inside, it is starting to go. I don't know how well it's picking up on the camera, but it is starting to go. You can see rust there. There's more rust. But we'll get it on something flat, and we'll have a look at it better. So one thing I will add there is, if you're looking at my doorstep and you're thinking, Christ, that's rusty, it's not. When I'm shutting my door, obviously I'm having to slam it because the hinge is broken and bits of rust fall out and just collect on that little bit of doorstep there. So I can assure you that's not rust, it's just what it is. Right, so now you can see, so that's my hinge that I need to replace. It just needs a pin. You can see it's wobbling about like crazy. Is that one's still, well, that one's got a bit of wobble now, probably caused by that pin being loose. So the door was dropping down. The door was dropping down. You can just get new pins for them, which is just say you just drive that out, put a new pin in it. But the hinges are very expensive for doors, so you can want to try and save them where you can. You can see what I mean there by the studs. Obviously, just cut it flush, drill it down, tap it to M6, and then a blobber weld on the back of it. You can undo the Torx bits there as well while it's on the car. But they are quite hard to get to undo around off quite easy, especially your top ones. Anyway, the actual door skin itself. So the doors aren't, well, this door anyway, this door frame's not too bad. It's shot down here, shot there, but you know, I've got the repair section for that. It's not actually too bad. So whether I use it or I don't know. And the corners don't feel too bad. I bet that's gone there. I mean, it's just flaking, and the actual, there's a hole there. You can see a hole there, and then down the bottom, it's just full of holes down there. The passenger side is worse, and weirdly enough, that one's a different door. It's been changed, but yeah, it'll probably pull off all that door skin, to be fair. So yeah. So just while I'm here, I'm doing a bit of checking with the bottom repairs, and to be fair, Magnum, they're not too bad. It needs a bit of a dolly up around the edge there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's a bit rough. Seems to, it's definitely the right shape anyway. Things seem to be lining up. That looks a bit of a wider pressing than the original. As does the bottom bit, so yeah, definitely that bit there. You can see that bit there, that little ridge, that seems a little bit wider than the original. So I'm going to have to do something with that, because you will see some of that. That kind of overlaps that bit, but doesn't quite meet that bit on the bottom, so I'm going to have to do something with them. In terms of the actual length of it, the length is pretty much spot on. Obviously, until I get this bit cut out down here, I'm not going to know if that flange is right. It doesn't seem to be too far off, but like I say, hard to tell at the minute. If I put it on top, obviously it is hanging over in sort of parts of it. So it's just something to watch out for, but obviously I'm going to cut some of this metal away anyway, so it's going to move it further back by the thickness of the metal. So I'll just check with that one. We'll take some measurements of the skin so we know what we're doing. Annoyingly, they don't come with that bit, which I knew anyway, so I'm going to have to make, how can I show you best? I'm going to have to make this flange up here. If I had a shrink stretcher, that'd be dead easy, but I don't. The bottom one's not too bad because it's just going to be curved, but this one, obviously, it's curved there, but then it's a 90 degree there. So, and that's absolutely rotten up there, so I'm going to have to do something with that. That might have to be out of 2 bits of metal. Yeah, not too bad. You know, I'm glad I got it because I know the passenger side's really bad. So, yeah, we'll put that on there. Key thing is just measurements. Just take so many measurements. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to jug the door skins out and just make sure that they fit in the aperture. Because what I don't want to start doing is cutting things off and then realising that nothing's going to work. So, yeah, let's get on with that. Alright, so things do seem to line up with the swage lines and what have you. However, very, very tight down here. It's actually touching, it won't go in. And when I push that in, it forces out on this back bit. And the gap here is horrendous. So, I don't know whether that's had a new air panel at some point in its life, or this is just way out of shape. So, that door's original. I'm just going to try it next to the door and just see what we're sort of working with and see where it's at. I'm pretty sure there was a bit of a gap there before anyway, but definitely that's way too tight if it's down there like that. So bear with me. Right, so where are we up to? Well, I've taken the door hinges off now. Obviously we've tried the new skin in the aperture. It does seem a little bit big in places, a little bit small in others. I think that air panel has definitely been changed at some point in this car's life. It is 27 years old after all, so it may well have been. The gap at the top's quite big, but I can always put a bit of weld in there, sort of weld a bit of wire in there, to sort of pack that out a little bit and put some filler on it. It's going to get painted anyway, I'm not too fussed. I'd rather it be too big than too tight. And that's the issue having at the bottom. I think the bottom part of the air panel is going to be too tight. So what I may have to do, depending on how it all fits together, is just cut a very thin sliver just up here a little bit, and then just sort of bring that edge back in and weld it back up. I'd rather not do that, and I'd want to avoid it if I can, because I don't want to weld on the outside of this door skin at all. But you know, sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do. It is a Magnum panel. Like I say, I'm not sure of the history of that air panel, but it is what it is. The actual panel itself, the door skin itself, seems to fit okay. What I think is happening when I'm trying it in the actual door frame itself, I think where Magnum have folded the ends over to give you a bit of a start, I think their folds aren't bang on 90 degrees. I think they're sort of maybe sticking out a little bit, maybe 80 degrees. So what's happening is when I'm putting it in the actual aperture, it's making the door skin feel bigger than what it actually is. And I'm pretty sure that once I've folded these back in, then it'll pull the actual skin in and it'll fit better. But that's for another episode. I'm going to have to cut that out and do some measurements before I do any of that. So measurements wise, I'm going to measure from sort of these points here right up to the top of a door frame, and I'll mark where I've measured it. I'll do the same as well for the inside, so where when I put my frame panel in, I know where that's going, and I'll just write down where I've measured it, draw some little lines, match some measurements so I can't lose them. That's a future episode, like I say. So I'm sorry it's been a bit all over the place. That is not how you take a window out. I don't think it is anyway. But it's come out. All the door furniture's off. It's a bare door now, ready for the for next stages, which is obviously cutting that off and getting ready to weld in the new ones. I'm pretty sure I've got enough gas to do all that. So yeah, if I don't see you before Christmas or New Year, I hope you have a good Christmas and a happy New Year. Hopefully you see me cutting this out before then, but you know, it's family time at the end of the day, so it's got to come first. But yeah, if I don't see you, have a good one. See you later.